Minecraft just kicked off its newest round of snapshots last week, adding new features that were already basically complete. How did they follow it up this week? Oh, hi everyone, Dewlan here, and welcome to Snapshot 22w43a. There's a handful of tweaks with what's already been introduced, but this one focuses primarily on the creative menu. If I pop over into this chest here, you'll see the camel spawn egg, which got a little bit of a color change from last week's snapshot. In the real world, camels walk by lifting both legs on one side at the same time, and in this week's snapshot, their new walking cycle was tweaked a little bit to more properly reflect that. Fence gates no longer provide center support. In last week's snapshot, you could hang a sign, but when you open the gate, it would pop right off. But in this week's snapshot, I just can't hang it at all. There were two different changes to the chat reporting feature. The first one of which is when you go into select chat messages to report, you can now see when the player joined the chat if they went in between messages. You can now also comprise a draft, so if you need additional information and you need to go back, you can save it as a draft. This icon will then appear over the button. The draft will always be kept if the screen was forcibly closed, like if you die, or until you leave the current server or world. But the main focus of today's snapshot is the new creative menu. Take a look at this bad boy. They've reorganized a bunch of blocks here to kind of give it a better flow, but they've also added a couple of additions, namely the fact that the nature tab is now the natural blocks tab, and they've added quite a bit of interesting things to the functional blocks tab. Let's look at some of the new things here. So we have a bunch of new things in the redstone tab. They added milk in the consumables tab. They've added a bunch of new things to the functional tab, snowballs to the crafting tab, TNT and end crystals to the combat tab, and bone meal to the tools and utilities tab. But there's one thing in today's snapshot that is actually super cool that people have been wanting for a really long time. If we open the creative menu and we go over to spawn eggs, we now have spawners available in the creative tab. We no longer have to use commands to get these things in the game. Does it matter in the long run? Not really. We could have just kept using commands, but it does put something over that we have had in Bedrock for a really long time. And it's just really cool to be able to have such easy access to them. There was also the almighty technical change. They've also, of course, included a slew of bug fixes. And with all of that being said, that's all they've got for this week's snapshot. What are you guys thinking of this week's changes so far? I would love to hear what you have to say about the new creative inventory layout. But that's going to be all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more snapshot updates. My name is Dewlan, and I'll see you later. Bye now.